Hello everybody, Mannix here. Figured I'd do a quick little video showcasing my entire cold steel knife collection. And it's funny that I said this is going to be a quick little video, because it's not. It's going to be considerably longer than most of the videos I make. By the way, if you're interested in any knife reviews, flashlight reviews, lighter reviews, EDC videos, etc., the typical EDC gear YouTube channel is what I maintain right here, so you are free to subscribe if you'd like to see any more. But anyway, let's begin. This is basically every cold steel I have. Pretty much my favorite knife company if I had to pick one. So let's begin with an item from Cold Steel that is actually not a knife at all. This is the Cold Steel Battle Star. Bought this years ago. My inner mall ninja wanted one. Yeah, I know I'm making fun of it calling it a mall ninja item. There's nothing really mall about it. It is a legit throwing star. It's huge. Works really well. It's actually very easy to stick throwing stars into stuff. Somewhat of a toy, but it's not actually a toy, it is a weapon. But I just thought it was cool. Got it a long while back. So I figured just to open up with that. My friend gave me this one. Cold Steel belt knife. Canadian belt knife, I should say, sorry. Haven't really used this one very much. Made of the 4116 Krupp stainless, made in Taiwan. Interesting. I think it's good for skinning. I know very little for what this knife is meant for. I didn't get it myself, but she got it for me. I like it. I like to keep it in the collection. Just haven't carried it yet, but it looks like it would be a good fixed way to put on your belt. It is part of the collection, so there it is. And the third and final fixed knife that I have. Or I shouldn't say third and final fixed knife. I guess there's only one knife at the start, whatever. Cold Steel Mini Tack in the Tonto shape. Love this thing. Generally, I don't carry neck knives. Generally, I don't carry fixed blades, but this is an excellent neck knife. Absolutely love it. We have a wide blade there. I love the Tonto shape. I like Tonto everything. Skinny, grippy handle right here. Big old finger choils. You can really lock your hand in there. It's absolutely phenomenal. In the video that I made on this, I said I had a critique when you pulled it out using your index finger first. You're in this position. It's kind of loose and you have to climb up there to get a full grip. But many people have commented if you grip with your middle finger first, you will wind up in a more secure position. So that defeats my critique right there. Really cool knife. Again, I don't usually use fixed blades or buy fixed blades in general, but there you go. That's my neck knife. So let's move on to one of the more mundane cold steels, I guess. How about the Kudu? Bought this one almost 10 years ago. Basically, it's a modernized version of the Okapi. I believe it uses the 4116 Krupp stainless, just like the belt knife, the Canadian belt knife right here uses. Really cool knife. The Okapi is an African wooden knife. It looks similar to this one, but they use Grivex, or whatever you want to call it, the Grivery, Zyx. I don't know what it is. FRN, glass and plastic mixed together, modern material. They have kind of a wood grain pattern on here. A Kudu emblem. We have that, I forget what it's called, ricotta? That's a cheese. Ricapa? I can't even remember what it's called. Basically, it's a series of notches within the tang of the blade right there, which makes that noise. And then we have a little clasp lock on here, which is interesting with the split ring. Really interesting. It's like 10 bucks or so. Razor sharp. Kind of a crude design, crude lockup, but it's one of the best knives out there for the money, actually. That's steel. I think I have a long blade to work with. Although technically I can't legally carry this concealed. Interesting. Very interesting. Just figured I'd show that they're one of the cheaper cold steels I have. How about the Cold Steel Pocket Bushman? Another cheap cold steel, but a considerably stronger, more usable, I should say. Cold steel right here. Very interesting. If you're not familiar with this, it is a single piece of steel for the handle that is woven over or melted over, whatever process they use. And they use that to sandwich the blade between. Very simple design. We have a really strong locking mechanism. One of the strongest locking mechanisms in the world, the ram safe lock. Really interesting. Very cheap knife. Again, this also uses the Krupp stainless on there, so it does keep the costs down. I think it's a little different. No, 4116, another Krupp. Keeps costs down, but it is razor sharp. It will take a very sharp edge. Extremely strong, extremely affordable. Really awesome outdoorsman's backpacking knife. And then we have a pocket clip on there that you can swap to the left side, so you can also carry it and EDC it, which I have occasionally. So kind of just a cool, interesting knife right there. Moving on to another more affordable cold steel before we get into the bigger stuff, the Tough Light. Absolutely love these little guys. Extremely affordable, around the $30 range, sub $30 knife. Basically, we have a Warncliffe blade right there. It looks kind of like a razor. a box cutter or something, but it trumps every box cutter on the market because it's got that triad lock. It's completely overbuilt, super strong, super comfortable, super light, super tough. Hence the term tough light. Very friendly looking too. It doesn't look like an aggressive blade, although it can be used as one in a pinch. I have a review on that. By the way, just about all the knives I'm going to show you here, I have done reviews on. Pretty much link in the description below. Really cool. Like this thing. Very simple, very affordable. It's a nice little addition to the collection. And I consider this the cousin of it, even though it's nothing like it. It's like an estranged cousin. The Tie Light, 4 inches, Zyx. They sell a metal version, or the aluminum handle version of this one with the S35VN blade steel, I believe. This is the cheaper version, which the Zyx, or polymer handle, whatever you want to call that, with the AUS 8A blade steel. Again, also kind of like a sub $40 knife, 35 bucks at the most or so. Somewhere around there. Maybe it's 40, I can't even remember. But they haven't changed this design in nearly a decade. Just got this one recently, and I really like it. It's a modernized version of the Italian stiletto. Not the most useful, it's kind of an extreme design, but it's not meant to be a super useful EDC knife, although it can be used as an EDC knife. It's meant to be a modernized version of the Italian stiletto, just like this kudu is a modernized version of the African okapi knife. Interesting, affordable EDC knife, but just like all their knives, we have a very good heat treatment on the blade steel right there. Good quality control overall, even for being affordable. Hey, how about, since we're at it, let's show its big brother. The 6-inch Tie Light, same exact thing pretty much, except it's just bigger. 6-inch blade instead of a 4-inch blade. Same materials, same everything else. I actually like this one a lot more. I don't EDC it all the time, but it's so hand-filling. A thick old handle right there. A lot of reach, a lot to hold on to. Will absolutely excel at the pierce cuts. That is what it is intended to do. Not the most useful EDC knife, even more so, but it will be an even more useful defensive knife. Flicks out every single time. No spring or anything. It's actually pretty impressive. The detent on there just allows you to really flick the crap out of it. Deploys so fast, both of these. Really cool. Interesting. Interesting folders for the collection. Not the most useful or anything, but they're just kind of cool to have around. Cold Steel Spartan. This is a big guy. Classic cold steel design right here. This is the AUS 10A version, I believe. They originally made this in AUS 8 a little over 10 years ago when it came out, somewhere around there. I'm filming this early 2022, by the way, in April. But then they upgraded to the stonewashed finish and the AUS 10A steel. And here comes my cat sniffing around here. Don't cut yourself, Charlie. No, that's not to play with. Get out of here. No, yeah, I'm going to find you a toy or something. Here, Charlie will just kind of sit in the corner there and chill while I make the rest of the video, I suppose. Just don't want to cut him or anything. But basically, as I was saying, AUS 10A on here. They upgraded from AUS 8A to CTS BD1 for a couple years, I believe, and then they upgraded to this one. Maybe it's not an upgrade, maybe it's just a change. I don't know if AUS 10A is much better than CTS BD1. They're just kind of different. Who cares? But I do like the new finish they put on there, the stonewash. Super extreme design, extremely comfortable. Big old menacing recurve on the blade right there. It's kind of like a mini kukri almost. Really cool. It's not the most comfortable to deploy out. I should say it's comfortable to carry, but the pocket is so high up on there, you don't have a whole lot to grip onto. And for such a huge knife, sometimes it causes problems and accidentally snags on my pocket when I don't want it to. You can wave it off the pocket deliberately, but there's just not a whole lot to hold on there. So it's not the best EDC knife, but it's cool. Cool for the collection. It is affordable. Again, around the $60 range, so it won't break the bank. Really cool, impressive knife. Get out of the way, Charlie. Hey, what are you doing? I don't think he likes this material he's walking on right here. Okay, I guess you're just going to sit there. Okay, cool. Whatever, Charlie. A distant cousin of the Spartan, I'm going to say, even though it's not related at all, is going to be this Cold Steel 4MAX Scout. It's one of their newer designs. I like it more than the Spartan, although the Spartan is really cool and has an extreme design. This one's just a little bit more useful, a little bit more versatile. It's even heavier and even bigger, I think. I'll show you a comparison pretty soon here, but huge, thick handle, a lot to hold on to. I like the jimping right there. Every detail on this is just beautiful. Charlie playing with the beads on the mini tack right there. Yeah, I gotta find you a toy. See, Charlie, I didn't want to let you in here, and now you're dragging it away. Yeah, have fun with those beads right there. Just don't deploy the knife, whatever you do. But it's absolutely one of my favorites. Instant favorite of mine. Just got one a couple weeks ago. This one right here, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I'll show you. Interesting comparison right there. Same exact materials too. We have the Griv X or Grivery handles, stainless steel liners. This one's parallel mounted, I'll call it. This one's flush mounted. Easier to grip onto this one out of the pocket, easier to deploy overall. But they're still both really cool. The 4MAX is just a little bit more expensive, around the $80 range, but you get every penny that you spend. So easy to deploy, so much to hold on to. It's absolutely one of my favorites. It's massive, massive, heavy, big folder. All right, Charlie, I'm going to have to move you out of the way. You're just distracting all the viewers, probably, so I'm sorry about that. And now he's sitting on the futon in the back. Yeah, good job. Stay over there, Charlie. Speaking of big folders, let's move on to the Cold Steel Luzon, or Luzon. I said in my reviews, I call it the Luzon. Maybe it's pronounced Luzon. Luzon's cooler, but this is the 6-inch version. Luzon, or Luzon 6-inch is the name of this knife right here. About a $40 knife, 39 bucks or so you can get this as I'm filming this. Deploys out every single time, 6-inch blade, super fast, super smooth, no wrist flick required. Just look at that one more time. That's insanity. It's extremely impressive for the price point. Fully skeletonized steel liners in there, so we'll lighten it up. I kind of like this pattern. It's almost like a bamboo pattern, I think. I forget which knife this one's designed after, but a lot of their bigger knives are designed after certain swords and stuff. That's what's really cool about cold steel. Comfortable. I like the leaf spring lock they put on there. It helps strengthen the liner right here. For once, they didn't go with their triad lock on this one back when they made it. Back in the day, they pretty much put the triad lock on all of their knives, just like, you know, the 4MAX right there and the Spartan right here. I mean, I just showed you 2 liner locks, so I'm kind of contradicting myself there, but you'll see after I show you the rest of my knives. One of the best budget EDC, or not really EDC, best budget defensive Marshall blades out there on the market, period. For the money, 40 bucks, you absolutely cannot beat the Luzon 6-inch. That 110% is my opinion. Cold Steel did not pay me to say that. It's just, for the money, it's insanity. ACR 13 MOV blade steel. So the blade steel's on the cheaper side, but it takes a razor sharp edge. Gets very sharp. It doesn't hold it forever, but it gets sharp very quickly. So even if it does dull on you, after using it for so much, I don't know why you'd use such a big folding knife for a little cutting task that often to the point that you'd have to resharpen it. I see this as a defensive tool, so you don't have to use it until you have to. But that keeps the cost down, doesn't it? Some people complain like, oh, they could have used a better blade steel and this and that. Yeah, that's true, but yeah, you throw S35 VN on here, you're going to have a $120 knife, not a $40 knife, possibly more than that. So just keep that in mind. Let's tone things down a bit. Let's go down to a smaller, more EDC-able knife. Cold Steel Recon 1. This is the AUS 8A version. So got this one back in the day, maybe 7 years ago or so. Right after that, they switched to the CTS BD1, and then now these have the S35VN. Speak of the devil. The S35VN is a superior steel. It is much better, retains an edge better. It's an awesome steel, but it makes the knife more expensive. You can get these around like $100 now, 90 bucks, can't even remember. But back in the day, all day long, you get these for like sub $60, and that's what I believe I paid for this one. Again, the new steel is an upgrade and all, but this has some sentimental value to me. You can see it is well used right there. One of my favorite folding knives ever for EDC, and it's also a good combat knife, I think. Very comfortable, very strong. Iconic cold steel design right here. Let's take a look at its grandpa, or its older brother, its older cousin, whatever you want to call it. The original Cold Steel Recon 1. Or more original, I should say. I don't know when this one was made in particular, but it's pre-2010? Somewhere around there, a little over a decade old now. Got this one used a while back because it's one of my favorites. Love the Tonto on there. I'm a Tonto guy, as you'll probably see here in just a minute. Very interesting Tonto shape on it. It's like a spear point Tonto almost. I like that Ultra Lock. If you're not familiar, it's their version of the Benchmade Axis Lock, so you can do this. Flick it open and shut without even touching the blade. Very interesting. Interesting comparison here. New versus old Recon 1. They both have AUS 8A blade steels on there, both G10 handle scales. Old one had some stainless steel liners. I have a comparison video of the two, but very cool. Becoming collectible now. Speaking of collectible, old knives Cold Steel no longer makes. This is the original AK with the Ultra Lock as well. One of my favorites as well. You can wave this off of your pocket. I'm trying to do it off camera. I'm failing. There we go. With that little thumb plate up there. One of my favorites. Got the pommel. It's very similar to the new AK. The main difference being the locking mechanism on there. The design's slightly different on the new one. We have an FRN pommel or Grivex pommel instead of the aluminum one. Everything else is about the same other than, you know, upgrading to the triad lock. AUS 8A blade still on here, I believe. Yep. Now, the new one has the S35VN, I think. Cold Steel Voyagers. Oh, yes, I love everything about the Voyagers. This is the newest model, the AUS 10A blade steel. Again, they had CTS BD1 on this for a while. Before that, it was AUS 8A. But the design has not changed since 2011. Somewhere around there when they made these newer Voyagers. I'll show you the older Voyagers in just a moment here. But again, Tonto XL, probably my favorite, but I like them all. They stopped making the mediums, so I'm going to try to find one because I'm also collecting discontinued cold steels, as you can see. One of my favorites. It's lightweight for the size, for what it is. Super strong locking mechanism. We got the triad on there. Aluminum flush-mounted liners. Flush-mounted liners, sorry. Interesting. I don't see aluminum liners very often, but that lightened this up. Not that I care too much, but practically speaking, absolutely amazing knife. Very grippy. A lot to hold on to. A lot of reach. Good backpacking knife, good defensive blade. It's just an all-around great knife. Absolutely massive, too, by the way. This is not a normal EDC knife. It's huge, but I like to EDC it sometimes anyway. It's one of my favorites. Fun fact, the Cold Steel Voyager XL Tonto was one of my first higher quality folding knives I ever got. Must have got it 2012, 2013. I want to say 2013, somewhere around there when I was younger. First one I got, I think, was a Spyderco Persistence. Before then, I had nothing but M-Techs and stuff, but another biggin. Just recently got this one Cold Steel Hold Out 1. Yes, this is the XL size. There's the Hold Out 2, which is like the 4-inch blade. This is the 6-inch blade. Hold Out 3 has got the 3-inch blade or something. Smaller blade, whatever. This is absolutely massive. I really love this knife. I've seen it for years and years and years. Cold Steel did not change the design on this thing in over a decade since they came out with these back in the day. But it never really interested me that much. Thought it was kind of plain Jane, simple looking. But I just recently picked this one up. Used, not new. Most of these I bought new. But I'm a huge fan of it. I love carrying it. I love toying around with it. It's a serious knife. It means business. It's really lightweight. Flicks out every single time. Super strong. Because again, we got that triad lock on there. There's something very simple and elegant about it. Absolutely love this thing. Super lightweight and balanced. It's like a fighting knife. Not just a defense knife. It's a fighter. That's what it makes me think of. It's just really, really sweet. Simple G10 handle scales right there with no liners or anything. Super strong. Really interesting. Cool knife. By the way, I found out this is the original version with the AUS 8A blade steel. How you tell? If it says Cold Steel Taiwan, the pattern looks like that. On the ricasso of the blade, that's how you know it's the AUS 8A, I believe. Again, recently they upgraded to the S35VN, which makes them more expensive. Interestingly, though, even though this one is used, a used one of this, because it's the original version, they're actually a little bit more in price now. They cost a little more than they used to, even though it's a downgraded blade still if you got this instead of the new S35VN version. Then I think there's also a CTS XHP version, which was in between the two models. So if that wasn't confusing enough, another big blade, Cold Steel Raja 2. The Raja 1 they stopped making quite a while ago. That's like the fancy version of this one. This one's got the AUS, CTS BD1 right there. So they used to make it with the AUS 8A, changed to CTS BD1. And now I think the new one is AUS 10 or AUS 8. Believe it or not, they didn't upgrade it. They downgraded it back, I think. Can't remember, but they're really affordable now. This one was like 80 or 90 bucks or so. Now they're like 75 or 70 I saw them for. If you want one, get one now before they change the blade steel and they up the price again, because that's a great deal because this thing is massive. Heavy, super strong locking mechanism on there. I love that kukri blade shape. It's just phenomenal. One of my favorites ever. Deploys out of your pocket with the wave very easily. Pocket clip is huge. We have a lot to grip onto right here. It's kind of what you want. This is the problem I had with the Spartan. Spartan is waveable too. This is more covert, which is nice and all for EDC, but how easy is it going to be to pull out of your pocket and deploy? Not really on the Spartan. Much, much easier. Did that off camera. I'm just going to have to take my word for it. One of my favorite knives ever. Absolutely awesome. Just huge, massive kukri. Folding kukri. Speaking of kukris, there is one cold steel I'm not going to show you. It's my cold steel kukri I bought for like 20 bucks almost 10 or 11 years ago, and it's in my car. It's literally just a black kukri. I don't feel like getting it, so sorry. Cold steel Espada large. S35 VM blade still on this one, I think. Yeah, there we go. Gorgeous, gorgeous knife. This one was like 200 or 210 back when I bought it 2 years ago now. I don't think they've changed the design since. It's absolutely gorgeous. Love the rhino looking blade on there. It's just so cool. I like to carry it when I can. Don't carry it all the time because I don't want it to get all scratched. It's not like super expensive or anything, but it's not cheap. You know, some people carry $500-$600 knives. This isn't that expensive, but it's a lot. You know, 200 bucks is a lot for one folding knife. So very comfortable, very cool. Love the polished G10 on here. In my video, I think I called it micarta. It's not G10. I think this is a stainless steel bolster. It might be aluminum. I don't really know, but really high quality blade steel on there, and you get a massive amount of it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love this knife. Thinking about getting a G10 Espada though. Downgrading a little bit cheaper to like 110 or 120 now or something for the large size. But they're more EDCable. You're less afraid about scratching it. And they're more grippy. They're more useful overall, I think. But these are sweeter though. I mean, come on. This is one of the sexiest knives I have. Probably the sexiest. Absolutely. Probably my favorite cold steel too is this guy right here. So, now let's move on to to finish the video. My OG Voyagers is the original Voyager, or I'm going to call it original. I know there's a version before this one that had an FRN pocket clip, but yeah, whatever. It's an old Voyager from the early 2000s, earlier mid 2000s before they swapped it. VG1 stainless, made in Japan, medium size. Love these things. Really cool. They're hard to find now. You get these for 70 or 80 bucks maybe if you find them in good condition online. All the discontinued cold steels are getting harder and harder and harder to find. Let's step up to the large size. Found this one too. Plain edge Tonto. Made in Japan as well. Although we have cylindrical thumb studs on here instead of the cones. Somebody told me on one of my videos that when you see the cone-shaped thumb studs on these older Voyagers, that means it's the AUS 8A version, not the VG1 stainless steel. I don't know if that's true or not, but it might be. It doesn't say VG1 on here anymore. I love these things. Medium, lighter duty, tactical folders. I like the half stop on there. You can hear the double click. See that? You can just drop down. Super lightweight, long, grippy, good tactical blades, actually. I like these things. So simple. Really love the original Voyagers. And finally, the XL size Tonto. So we got the medium, the large, and the XL. Again, these are getting harder to find in this condition, too. If you find these online, good luck. They're getting more and more expensive. So if you want to collect these, step on it now. They're really, really sweet. I love these original Voyagers. I like the new ones too, but I like the old ones. I like them both for their own reasons. Another OG Voyager right here, large Vaquero. See this one, VG1 stainless, and then we have a cone-shaped thumb stud on there as well. Very interesting. Has a bigger pocket clip, and then we have a more curved, slimmer handle instead of the more squared off. Where is it? There you go. On the Tonto. And then the clip point has a slightly different one too. I've had a handful of different sizes and blade shapes, but I've bought and sold them. I've done reviews on them. You can see in the description. Finally, the last one, the Cold Steel Voyager X2. They never made an X2 size in the new Voyagers. They have the medium, the large, and the XL. They recently discontinued the medium. But this is the X2, which had a 6-inch blade. Medium had a 3-inch, large had a 4-inch, XL had a 5-inch, and then you had this guy, the X2. They only had it in the clip point, but really, really awesome folders. Love these things. Don't make them anymore. Again, it's discontinued, but super lightweight for what it is. Huge, huge, massive knife. Just one of my favorites ever. So glad I found one of these. They made a Vaquero Grande, they called it, which is like the X2 size Vaquero, but it did not come with a pocket clip, which is kind of weird. So that's it. That's my entire Cold Steel collection. Hope you liked it. I love Cold Steel. What do I like about them? I like the designs. I like how a lot of them are inspired by like old swords from around the world. They have very unique designs. They're very cool. And they're very functional too. They have very good steels for the money, generally speaking. They're a lot more affordable, generally speaking. Some of the strongest folding knives in the world. Probably the strongest folding knives in the world if you're talking about the Triad lock, the Ram Safe lock. They're very innovative with their designs too. They try new things. I like how they give you different sizes of the knives. I just think they're really cool looking. They're really strong, and they're more affordable. These days, 2022, in the past like 2 years or so, they've been getting a little more expensive because they've been throwing more expensive blade steels on them. It used to be AUS 8A, AUS 8A, AUS 8A on all of their knives, but it really kept the costs down. You get these massive 6-inch bladed folders. I mean, first of all, who else is making 6-inch bladed folders? Come on. But if you want a massive knife like that, Cold Steel will sell it to you, and then they throw a moderately good blade steel in there, so it keeps costs down around the $100 range, sub $100 range, for example. Remember, where are you? The Raja. These are like $70 right now. You can get these because it's a cheaper blade steel, but they still work really well. They're good enough for being a defensive, tactical, martial blade. Whether you're using them tactically or not, they're still cool. They're still cool to have. They're cool, fun to have. It's the same reason a lot of people buy these $500, $600 folders, because they're cool to have. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, getting a little more expensive because they're throwing S35VN on their blades, but hey, people are still buying them, and they're just a little bit more expensive, so I can't fault them for that. There's one more Cold Steel I have to show. I just got it in the mail. Let's use a Cold Steel folder to open it up. How about the Tough Light, because its calling is to open... Where is it? Oh, I literally right under. Forgot about you there, Tough Light, sorry. It's meant to open boxes. It's like an overbuilt box cutter, pretty much. Can you guess what Cold Steel this is? I had one many, many years ago. I have not done a review on it yet. Although, I don't know if I'm going to upload it before I upload this video. I'm filming this like mid-late April. Oh! Had one a long time ago. It's been a while. But let's just slip this guy open right here with the Tough Light. Thank you, Tough Light. Services are no longer required for this one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there's the separate pocket clip. Nice and polished, too. Sorry, it says my battery's low, so the flashlight just turned off, but wow, that is just elegant. Look at that. I scored a great deal on this thing. Speaking of S35VN, they upgraded to the S35VN on this. Wow, S35VN, it's a super steel. It's great. It's not too expensive. It is expensive. It's not cheap, don't get me wrong, but it's a great blade steel. Elegant. It's like a titanium folder. I believe it's aluminum. Aluminum handles, anyway. Wow. Got that Tonto shape. It's similar to the Recon one in some ways, but it's aluminum. Very slim, like really slim. Very smooth, very EDCable. Again, I had one of these a long time ago, an AUS 8A version, back in 2013 or so. Traded it, sold it, I did something to it. I don't remember what happened, but it's not like I didn't like it or anything. I get bored of knives, especially when I'm younger, and then I sell or I trade them. But it's gorgeous. Wow. Really impressed. It's been so long. Nearly a decade ago. Oh, can't wait to carry this one around and then do a video on this guy. So anyway, that is it. That is the Cold Steel collection I have. I'm not going to keep ranting about why I love them so much, but those are pretty much all my Cold Steel knives. Hope you liked the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see any more reviews. Feel free to look through my channel. I got plenty of reviews on a lot of different knives and gear. So if you have any requests too, if you'd like to see any knives on the channel, let me know. Let me know if you like Cold Steel and why you like Cold Steel. Let me know if you dislike Cold Steel and why you dislike Cold Steel, if that is the case, in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this feature-length video of Mannix. Have a great day or night, depending on what time it is when you're watching this.